So in today's story time, I was definitely a special kind of idiot. Let's just jump into it. So today's story time is about the time that I broke into my school and stole some stuff, and it didn't end very well. So yeah, let's jump into it. Before I start this, obviously, never repeat the things I talk about in these story times. This is for your entertainment only, so yeah, don't be an idiot like me. But anyway, today's story time all takes place in 2014. It was April 2014, I was 15 years old, and I remember around this time I had just met a new group of friends. And you know when you meet a new group of friends and they don't really know the real you yet? Or at least maybe that's just me, but I met this new group of friends and I just started hanging out with them. And I was trying so hard to appear cool to them because I didn't want to look like a nerd or whatever. Like, I wanted to be, the cool kid in the group. So I was always, down for anything whenever they wanted to go do some shit, even if it meant being really stupid. So yeah, this all starts off as a normal day in 2014. It was a Saturday, so it was the weekend. And one of my friends who was in that new group of friends hit me up, sent me a text message. He was like, "Yo, what are you doing tonight?" And I was like, "Nothing. What about you?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, me, Brad, and Adrian are going out tonight to go smoke. Do you want to come with us?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." So all three of these people that I was going to be going out with to smoke were all new friends of mine. This was going to be the second time I ever hung out with them. And I can't lie, they were not the best kids ever. You know what I mean? Like, they were definitely those kids in high school that your parents kind of warn you about. And they're like, don't hang out with them. They're bad influences. But to be fair, I was also kind of that kid, so I fit right in. So later that night, around 8 p.m., I got another text message from the same friend, and it said, "Hey, we're on our way now, get ready." So most of my friends in this group couldn't drive, but one of them was a year older than us, so he was able to drive. But because he was only 16 with his license, he wasn't allowed to drive past 9 p.m. where I live. So he was already about to break that law because it was already 8 and we'd be driving past 9. But I didn't give a shit. I felt cool as hell riding along with them. So anyway, about 15 minutes after receiving that text message from my homie saying that they were on the way, their car pulled up, and I was like, all right, it's time to go. Now, I was 15. My mom was not going to let me leave the house at 8 p.m. at night or 9 p.m. without, telling her where I was going. So I had two choices. I either go in my mom's room as she's getting ready for bed and be like, "Hey, can I go out with my friends at, 8 p.m.?" And she'd probably be like, "No." Or I could just sneak out. So I quietly opened my window. I slithered out the window, shut it real quietly, and I ran over to their car, and we got the hell out of there. And after I got in the car, we just drove around for a little bit, listened to music. We pulled through a drive-thru and got some food. And then after that, it was time to smoke. Now, I didn't really have any good ideas on where to go to smoke. My friend did not want to do it in his car because he had just got the car from his parents, and they still used it. So, he didn't want the weed smelling up the car and, getting caught. So he ends up having this bright idea. He's like, "Hey, why don't we just go to school and smoke? We'll just go in the field and, sit down on the soccer field and smoke weed. No one's there. It's a Saturday. It's late at night. We'll be fine." Now, obviously, in the back of my mind, I was like, that's really stupid because, if anyone pulls up and sees us, we're probably fucked. But at the same time, like I said earlier, I didn't want to look like a dork to these people. They were new friends of mine, and I wanted to look like the cool kid. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. That's a great idea. So yeah, next thing I know, we're driving over to my school. My friend's rolling up a joint in the passenger seat while we're driving, which is really hard to do. Don't know why he didn't just wait till we parked. And we end up getting to school 10 minutes later. We get out, we walk into the field, we all lay down in the middle of the soccer field, and we just light up this joint and start smoking together. And I can't lie, I was definitely shitting myself a little bit. I kept looking around every time I hit the joint, looking for security cars or the police or a teacher coming out that was working late, you know what I mean? Something. And my friends knew I was paranoid because every time I look around, they'd be like, "Dude, what are you looking for? You're starting to worry us, man. Even we're getting paranoid. Stop it." And yeah, I was definitely being a paranoid motherfucker. And it got to the point where my one friend, the one that drove us, was like, "Austin, you need to chill out, man. You're freaking out over nothing. It's a Saturday. No one works on Saturdays at the school. If there was security, they're not here anymore. I haven't seen any since we got here. We're fine." And yeah, I took his word, and I just kind of, stopped looking around and being paranoid because I didn't want to kill the vibe. So we end up smoking this joint. We finish it pretty quickly, and no one is high enough. Everyone wants to get higher. So my friend runs back to the car, grabs more weed in his bowl, and he comes back, and we smoke a bowl together in the same spot in the field. And at that point, after the joint and the bowl, everybody's pretty fucking obliterated. Definitely much higher than I needed to be. And we end up laying in this field after we're done smoking for 25 minutes just talking and laughing, and we end up having a really good time, right? And I end up getting super, super hungry, as one does. Not only because I smoked a bunch of weed and I had the munchies, but also I didn't really eat a whole lot this night. Like, my friends got fast food, we went through the drive-thru, but I only ate like a couple fries, so like I definitely wasn't very full. And I said something. I was like, damn, I'm so hungry right now. And all my friends look at me and they're like, dude, same. And those motherfuckers just ate, so the weed was definitely kicking in because they were still hungry. So pretty much we all end up thinking about food for the next 5 minutes and what we're going to do to get it because we're all starving. And my friend didn't want to drive. He was too stoned. He was like, I don't want to drive. I don't trust myself. Like, I'll crash. And I was like, that's completely fair. And the other friends of mine were all like, yeah, I don't really want to walk anywhere. Everything's too far away. And that was bullshit. There was literally a gas station across the street pretty much, but they didn't want to walk there. And my one friend has this idea. He's like, hey, what if we go into the school and we take some snacks off the snack cart? Yeah, my school had this thing, like every year, where they'd walk around door to door in the morning at the classrooms. And if you had like a couple dollars on you, you could buy snacks off this thing called the snack cart. They had like chips and sweets and candy and all that shit and drinks. And I look at my friend and I was like, you want to go into the school on a Saturday night and like steal stuff from the snack cart? And he was like, yeah, that'd be fucking hilarious. And I was like, I'm down. That's how high I was and how much I didn't care about getting in trouble and how much I wanted to appear cool to these kids. I was like, I'm down. So we go around the back of the school and we find this window in one of our teacher's classes that has been broken for like 5 years straight and it never locks. And we just slide that bitch open and we just climb right into the school without any second thought. And it was so weird getting into the school and then seeing it closed down. Like seeing the lights all off and like any lights that were on were like just the hallway lights. So it was really spooky and really creepy, I can't lie, because our school is a pretty old building. And as we walked the halls looking for the room that the snack cart was in, we just kept hearing noises above us or below us and like pipes making weird noises. It was really scary. And I can't lie, after we got into the school, I was terrified about someone catching us. I thought there was like a silent alarm or like an alarm that would go off and the cops would show up, or like someone was working overnights, like a security guard. Like I just thought someone was going to catch us, and I was trying to not be paranoid, but it was really hard. And we ended up walking the halls, going door to door looking for the snack cart room, and being high didn't help, because if I wasn't high, I would remember exactly where it was, but because I was stoned, all the doors looked the same, and every room we'd go to, like, was just wrong. And finally, after about 25 minutes of looking, we find the snack cart room, and we raid that bitch. We take, like, 5 bags of chips, 5 things of Skittles, a bunch of Rice Krispie treats. We take anything our fucking pockets can hold. We ended up taking, like, half the shit off the snack cart. And after that, we're like, okay, time to go. So we walked all the way back to the classroom that had the window that we snuck in from. It took like another 25 minutes just to find that classroom because, like I said, we were all stoned and stupid. And the whole time that we were looking for it, all of my friends were just munching on their snacks. And I was waiting because I wanted to get out of the school and be at peace and like not paranoid before I started eating my food. And we get back to the classroom, we open up the window, we climb out, we get out into the parking lot. And we think everything is fine, right? We think we just got away with that. We think everything's good. There was no alarms, like nothing happened. And when you climb out of the window, from the window that we climbed out of, it puts you in the back lot of the school. So we climbed out on the back side of the school into the back parking lot where like a lot of the teachers would park. And nobody was back there and we couldn't see anything. So we're like, okay, we're good, right? And we closed the window that we climbed out of. And then after that, we start walking around the school building to the front parking lot, like the main parking lot that we couldn't see, because that's where our car was parked. And as we got closer and closer to the front of the building, I kept seeing blue and red lights. And I was trying to tell myself that it wasn't what I thought it was. And I remember at one point, I thought I was maybe hallucinating. That's how crazy and paranoid I was at the time. And as we got closer, I knew it was a real thing because my friend goes, yo, are those police lights? And I was like, oh no. And we turned the corner, and there was no shit like 8 cop cars in the school parking lot waiting for us. They had our cars surrounded, they were in front of the school, and they were starting to walk around the side, and they saw us. So we couldn't turn around and run. We couldn't walk away before they saw us, because they already did see us when we turned the corner and saw them. And yeah, there was one right there. Like a cop was literally like 10 feet away. And he was like, hey, stop. And immediately they surrounded us and they put us in cuffs and sat us down on the curb. They start questioning us. They're asking us what we were doing there and like what was going on. Why were we in the school? What did we do in there? Like, it was really, really bad. And I was terrified because I'm like, yo, I'm about to get arrested for breaking into my own school. Like, how fucking stupid is this? So the cops questioned us for about 10 minutes, and we told them the full truth. We were like, yeah, we got high, we got hungry, we went in there, we stole some snacks, like, you can check our pockets. And they did. And the chief of police was there. And he comes up to me and he goes, Austin, long time no see. Because he knew me from getting swatted and from catching me doing stupid stuff in the past. And I was like, hey, chief, long time no see. And he goes, do you ever learn your lesson, man? Like, are you stupid? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, seriously, though, you got to stop doing stuff like this, man. I don't know who you're hanging out with or who these kids are. I've never seen them before. But, like, you got to find better influences. You got to just do something because this isn't working. You're going to end up in jail. And I was like, yeah, I know. And what ends up happening is the principal pulls up, a couple other staff members. We end up sitting there for another hour. Our parents pulled up because they call their parents. And the good thing is we didn't go to jail or juvie, but we had to sign up for a program for misguided children, essentially. It was like a school program. It was like 6 hours a day on the weekends for 4 weeks. And it was basically like a steered straight program. So you didn't have your phone and you didn't have any TV or anything. You had to sit there with a bunch of other really bad kids and sit in a circle and do talk therapy and essentially just like showed examples of what would happen if you stayed on this path. And it was just meant to like scare people into not being bad kids anymore and also do therapy to like talk about why they might be acting the way they are. And it was just something I didn't want to be in. The only good thing about it is my friends were there with me, but it was not very fun. But luckily, we could have gotten in a lot more trouble. We could have went to juvie. Like, we literally snuck into our school in the middle of the night. Like, essentially broke into our school. Obviously, we didn't break anything to enter, but, you know, we weren't supposed to be there. And we robbed the snack cart, which also was not good, even though it was just, like, food. Like, it could have still gotten us in trouble. And, yeah, I don't know. Like, it was really not a fun night. But it was a great story, and luckily it all worked out. And I learned a valuable lesson. Don't do stupid shit to try and look cool in front of your friends. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this story time. Everything in the end was okay, and I learned a valuable lesson. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed this story time, please leave a like on the video. I would really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys all later. Peace. Some G's on my fist, yeah, you know I'll go till I'm old. This shit I'm